Well, hello friends. This is going to be a relatively short, maybe 20 to 30 minute practice, intended to be very gentle, very beginner friendly, just something I wanted to throw out there with the holidays coming up, something that you could do to maybe just give yourself a little pause, a little rest and relaxation as you move from what is undoubtedly one stressful errand or task to another. So, as per usual, I have a mat, I've got some blocks, and I'm going to be using a resistance band here for some of the stuff that we're going to do today. You could also get like a strap, or if you don't have a yoga strap, you could use a towel, really anything that just gives you a little bit more reach for some of the things that we're going to be doing. Let's start in a seated position. I like to actually sit on my blocks at the outset. I find that elevating my seat slightly just helps me find a very easy, gentle position to sit in. If you can sit flat on your mat comfortably without feeling any kind of excessive need to either extend your lower back or just really curling in and arching. If you can sit comfortably on a flat surface, by all means. I find that most people actually appreciate having the pillow or some blocks underneath of them to just take a little bit of take a little bit of the stink out of our hips, but I don't think that's the right term. In any event, we'll get started in a comfortable seated position here. And we are just going to gently close our eyes and bring our attention to our breathing, focusing on nice long inhales and nice and controlled exhales. I'd like you to try and draw your attention to the natural rise and fall of your body as you breathe. And imagine, if you will, that as you inhale, it's like there's a string gently tugging on the top of your head, pulling you ever so slightly upwards, and as you exhale, that string is bringing you back down. And you may find that this visualization helps you just keep your focus on your breathing. It's perfectly normal for your mind to wander, particularly during a stressful time in your life. Maybe you're running through the list of things that you have to do, and that's totally normal. Don't give yourself a hard time if your thoughts run away to some far off distant place. Just try to gently corral them back to this rising and falling sensation in your body. Drawing attention to our shoulders, how they lift and fall with our breath. Moving that attention to our mid-back, moving that attention further down now into our lower back, wrapping around our lower back to our abdomen, around our navel, right? Maybe even placing a hand gently on our navel or over our navel. And just observing this movement pattern in our body that happens very spontaneously, very naturally from just inhales and exhales. Now very gently, we're going to take our hands, we're going to move them somewhere to our thighs, or I like to use my knees as anchors here. And you can keep your eyes closed if that feels nice, if that feels very grounding for you. And we will, on our inhales, gently pull on our hands to gaze upward. This is sometimes referred to as a seated cat-cow. So we're really trying to pull our shoulders back and lift our chin up. You can hear my voice change a little bit. And as we exhale, we'll just release that tension and we'll curl inward. Trying to bring that chin in towards our sternum. Again, hearing that voice change. And on our inhales, rising slowly. Gazing upward, pulling our shoulders back. Exhale. We want to see if we can get into this habit of finishing our inhale right at the tippy top of our back extension and finishing our exhale right at the bottom, right, of our flexion. 2 more. Nice and slow. One more. And we'll go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of side bending love, but be mindful that this is meant to be a gentle and restorative practice. So if you find yourself really grunting and groaning and holding your breath as you stretch one way or another, try to take about 10% off until you return to a place where, yes, there is sensation in your body, but it's sustainable, it's manageable. You can still find that gentle inhale and exhale, that rising and falling sensation. So we'll begin with our left arm. Now I may be flipped on the camera, so you can just follow however makes sense to you, but for me it's going to be my left arm. I will place my right hand down gently by my side. My left hand comes up. I'm avoiding turning my shoulder into an earring. I'm not trying to get my ear to my shoulder. I'm just keeping my arm nice and upright. And as I inhale, I lift myself up out of my seat. And as I exhale, I gently bend over towards the right side. And I just stay in this side bend position and let the inhales and the exhales do all the difficult work for me. I'm not trying to reach over as aggressively as I can, right? Just putting a slight bend in my side body, reaching up, avoiding this ear to shoulder connection. And allowing those inhales to put a little separation between the ribs in my left side body. 2 more nice big breaths here. You should be able to maintain conversation. So if you find that, for example, it'd be very difficult to talk to somebody, with the exception of when you need to pause for your breaths, right? But if you're finding that you'd be winded or out of breath trying to talk right now, it means you've gone a little too far. And we're going to come on down. We're going to place that hand down on the mat. We're going to lift the other arm up again, right? Avoiding this ear to shoulder connection. Just bring that shoulder down, but keep that arm fixed and raised. Inhales draw you up, and exhales bring you gently over. Putting a little bit of a bend in your body just really enables that natural breathing pattern to take on a slightly different shape, right? So we can really feel those inhales and exhales through this right side of our torso. The ribs on the right side, just pulling apart gently as we inhale. Obviously, if there's any pain, you're going to want to back off. And let's come on down. Let's take 3 more of those seated cat-cows after our side bends to just return to a nice, gentle, symmetrical movement. So placing our hands over our knees, we will inhale, draw ourselves up, and exhale, curl ourselves in. Inhales draw you up. Finishing your breath somewhere at the top, right? And exhaling, bringing you down. Just observing the shape your body makes. No judgment. No, gee, I wish I was doing it like this instead of like that. Returning to the center, we're going to take a very gentle twist to each side. And again, really the purpose of the twist is not to discover some heretofore unknown level of flexibility, right? But just to put yourself into a slightly different shape within which we can do those breaths and receive some of the benefits of those breaths in a modified position. Right? So we'll begin similarly to our side bend by placing our right hand down on the mat. We'll take our left hand and we'll place it on the outside of our right knee. Now if you need to adjust yourself, if you need to wiggle around a little bit to get into a more comfortable position, by all means. But all we're going to do here, without using our arm strength, right? We're not trying to crank ourselves back. We're just going to place our hands here as kind of like anchor points. And then we will look over that right shoulder. As we inhale, we'll feel ourselves rise. And as we exhale, maybe we'll gently look a little further over that shoulder. Breathing in and out, slow and controlled. Never holding our breath, never grunting or groaning, never using our arm strength to try and crack our back here. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just creating a slightly different position for ourselves to breathe in and out. Two more nice big breaths. And slowly returning to the center, adjusting yourself however feels intuitively right to you. When we get those signals from our body like, hey, I think you kind of need to shift your hips here a little bit, this isn't really feeling right, try to listen to those signals, okay? They're usually not there to lead you astray. They're not there to like steal your gains, okay? They're just kind of your body nudging you towards a shape that maybe is a little bit more conducive for the practice that you're in this particular moment. Take your left hand, place it gently by your left side. Take your right hand, place it on the outside of your left knee. Inhale draws you up, and exhale turns you looking behind that left shoulder. Now, it's totally normal here to find that one side maybe is easier than the other. One direction has a bit more movement than the other. Don't try to force yourself into some equality between left and right side, okay? Stay focused on your breathing. Stay focused on just working gently in wherever you happen to be on each side. Inhales draw you up. Exhales help you maybe gaze a little further. We're not using our arms here, right? I can take my arms away, and I'm still doing the same thing. But the arms help me release a little bit of the tension through my hips and through my back by just anchoring me in place, right? So that I don't have to use the strength of my back and my hips to hold myself in this fixed position. I can anchor myself with my arms and just release some of that tension through my hips and my lower back and my middle back. 2 more breaths. And slowly unwind, returning to center, adjusting yourself as needed. And we'll take 3 more of those cat-cows. Again, after that asymmetrical twisting, just returning to a nice, gentle, symmetrical movement. So placing our hands somewhere over our knees as we inhale. We draw ourselves up. As we exhale, we curl in. Inhale draws you up. Exhale brings you down. Was that 2? I don't know. I wasn't counting. We'll do 1 more. Very nice. Now before we lie down on our backs and start to kind of work our way towards the end of this practice, which I promised you would be a relatively short practice, we'll just take a little gentle stretching through our neck here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our nose over our right shoulder, and then we'll reach up and back with our right hand towards the base of our skull. And we'll gently pull our head down into what is called an armpit sniffer. It's like you're trying to sniff your own pits, right? It's very self-explanatory. Now, if this already feels very intense, I want you to stay here and just breathe. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you can take this left hand and you can try and place that palm down on the mat. Notice how as you do that, right, you create this stretch through that left upper kinetic chain, and that might increase the intensity of the stretch in your neck as well. Or, and this is a variation I'm very fond of, we'll take our left hand towards our right hip, and as we inhale, we'll draw that arm up at about 45 degrees, and as we exhale, we'll just place it back on that right hip. Go ahead and we'll just take 3 more breaths like that. Again, if you just want to stay here, no arm movement, that's okay. One more big breath. And down. And slowly come on out. Return your gaze to center. That nose is now going to go over the left shoulder. The left hand is going to reach up. Grab the base of the skull. Gently pull your head down like you're trying to sniff your own armpit. Just take a second here to see how we feel, right? If there's some intensity in the neck already. If not, go ahead and see how it feels to put that right palm down on the mat. Or try and walk that hand away. That one's pretty intense. You're going to feel that as you walk those fingers away. It's like you're stretching in both directions, right? You're pulling apart. That's a pretty good one. I didn't do it on the other side, so I don't know. You may want to even yourself out and just do whatever you did on the other side. But something to remember for next time, right? That little finger walk. Go ahead and take that hand to your left hip if you'd like to try this variation, or if you did it on the other side. Inhales, draw it up and out at 45 degrees, give or take. And exhales, bring it back. Maybe 3 more like that. And slowly come on out. Let's go ahead and take 3 gentle shoulder circles back. And 3 gentle shoulder circles forward. Very nice. All right, you can go ahead and slide your blocks out of the way. I don't think we're going to need them again. And we can move this out of the way for now too. We may come back to this. I think we will. And we're just going to lie down on our backs here. Now go ahead and just give yourself a moment, maybe close your eyes if that's helpful, to just observe yourself lying on your back, points of contact between you and the floor. And see if you can return to that principle that we started with our breath, of our inhales gently lifting us up like there's a string pulling us upwards, right? And our exhales bringing us down like we're sinking a little bit more into the ground. Go ahead and raise your knees up. Place your hands just below your knees on your tops of your shins. As we inhale, we're going to pull those knees away from us to straight arms. As we exhale, keeping our back as flat as we can, we will try and compress that front side of our hips, bringing our knees in towards our chest. Try to avoid rocking back here, right? Rolling your back up off the mat. You're not looking for that much movement, really. You're looking for that sensation of compression in your hips. So as you exhale, you're really just using that arm strength, right, to pull those knees in towards you with a flat back, feeling that squeeze in your hip flexors, and then the inhale draws those knees out. It's a pretty small movement, right? My knees are not coming in that close to my chest. Less is more in this case. Not in every case, but in this case. Go ahead and give me 2 more big breaths.
Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to take our hands, we're going to slide them behind our knees. And on the inhales, we'll do a similar motion, but we are going to kick our feet up, like we're trying to press the ceiling away. Still trying to keep that lower back flat, right? So if you find yourself lifting up like that, you've gone too far. And as we exhale, we'll bring those knees in again. Inhale, like we're trying to press the ceiling away, keeping our lower back flat, feeling that nice hamstring engagement. And exhale, down. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale, down. Inhale, and exhale. Very nice. Now we will go ahead and grab that strap or resistance band or towel, whatever you happen to be using. And we'll start on our right foot, and we're just going to gently just work it a little bit back. It's really about the movement, so if you want to kind of rotate, right, that foot clockwise and counterclockwise a little bit to find some nice rotation in that hip socket. That's good. You can pull it back a little bit. Just remember, you want to be able to maintain your breath, your composure. You're not trying to grunt and groan for a stretch here. You're just gently exploring, right? Pulling a little bit more. Nothing crazy. We're not trying to, again, unlock some new level of flexibility. We're not trying to set a PR here. We're just trying to put some movement into our body so that we feel good going through the rest of the day, right? We feel like we've built a kind of a foundation upon which we can address the rest of our tasks. All right, let's go ahead and switch feet. Again, totally normal if there's a right side versus left side difference. Rotating that foot clockwise and counterclockwise. Maybe it doesn't rotate quite as far on one side as it does on the other. That's totally normal. I mean, you want to work on it, right? But it's not like something you need to feel bad about. It's pretty much everybody's body is going to have that. Nice and easy breaths. And we can gently come on down and out of that. You can move this. I don't think we're going to need it again. Go ahead and place your feet a comfortable distance from your butt with your knees pointing up. We'll take some gentle bridging here to close out. We'll do our sort of final resting posture, and that'll be it. As we inhale, we're going to lift ourselves up and off of the mat, keeping our arms by our side or wherever we want for the time being. Now, you can use a block between your knees to keep them aligned, or you can just try and sort of visualize it. The really important thing is that we inhale as we rise, we exhale as we come down, and we see if we can rise and fall one vertebra at a time. Like we're trying to roll ourselves up off the mat one vertebra at a time. So I contrast that to just raising your hips up, right, and putting them down. You're really trying to engage from the bottom up, to roll everything up onto your upper back, and come down. Now for the last 3 here, if you want to go ahead and bring your arms in, you can do that. So we'll inhale, and you want to try and get those arms down right at the tippy top of your inhale. And as you exhale, you're bringing everything down, 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 and you're trying to get your lower back and your hands down at approximately the same time. Trying to coordinate your body's movement like that is a really great way to practice your proprioceptive abilities. Just try and develop them over time. And it also helps you stay focused on what you're doing. Right? It's like if you're trying to, jump on one foot while rubbing your tummy and patting your head. It's like having to focus on all of those things simultaneously. Makes it hard to think about, I still have to buy this from the grocery store. I still have to, run this errand or that errand. It just makes it harder to be distracted. One more for good luck. And down. Go ahead and extend those feet out. Take one little extension stretch, like you're in bed at the start of the day. You're just reaching left arm, right arm. And exhale, release it all. Let yourself sink into the mat. Close your eyes here. Just take some nice big breaths. Inhales, expanding your ribs, expanding your chest, maybe raising your lower back off the ground. Exhales, letting everything sink down. Feet fall apart. It's okay if you find yourself immediately thinking about all the stuff you got to do the second you stop this yoga practice. There's nothing wrong with that. But see if you can just give yourself a few moments here. Just set an intention, right? Okay, I have all these things that I still need to do today. When I do them, I'm really going to try and stay as best as I can in this moment of intentional breathing. Thoughtfully, mindfully moving through it. I'll try not to yell at anyone who annoys me because there are going to be people who do. Try to have some patience with myself, with others. Just try to navigate this human experience, which is being stressed on the holidays. Two more breaths. And slowly we'll open our eyes. We'll come on up to our side. We'll find a comfortable seated position. If you want to put those blocks or pillow or whatever back underneath you, by all means. If not, it's all good. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for giving yourself the time to hopefully just mellow out a little bit. Okay? If I pass you on the highway and you've done a little yoga and maybe you're chill and I cut you off on accident, I'm sorry if I do. Instead of, getting all in a tizzy about it, maybe you'll have a moment of, you know what, it's all good. And so that's really my selfish motivation for putting that out there during the holidays, so that all these crazy drivers out there
maybe 1 in a million of them will be a little less crazy. Jokes aside, important to give yourself some time during stressful moments, during these hectic days we find ourselves in, to just ground, bring everything down a little bit, and move forward from there. So thank you once again. I hope you have a happy holidays.